reply, O Maharaj Pariksit, the demigods were related to Vishvaru from his father's side, and therefore he visibly offered clarified butter in the fire while chanting mantras such as Indraya Idam Svaha, this is meant for King Indra, and Idam Agnaye, this is for the demigod of fire. He loudly chanted these mantras and offered each of the demigods his proper share. So text 3. Saha Eva Padao Bhagam Paroksham Asuran Pati Yatyamana Avahat Bhagam Matrishneha Vasha Anugaha Saiva hi dadau bhagam Saiva hi dadau bhagam Paroksham asuran prati Yatyamano vahat bhagam Matrishneha vasanugaha Saiva hi dadau bhagam Paroksham asuran prati Yatyamano vahat bhagam Matrishneha vasanugaha
Saiva hi dadau bhagam Paroksham asuran pati Yajamano vahat bhagam Matrishneha vasanugaha Saiva hi dadau bhagam Paroksham asuran pati Yajamano vahat bhagam Matrisneha vasanugaha Saiva hi dadau bhagam Paroksham asuran prati Yajamano vahat bhagam Matrishneha vasanugaha Saiva hi dadau bhagam Paroksham asuran prati Yajamano vahat bhagam Matrishneha vasanugaha Saiva hi dadau bhagam Paroksham asuran prati Yajamano vahat bhagam Matrishneha vasanugaha
Vishvarup Indeed Certainly Thou offered Bhagam Share Paroksham without the knowledge of the demigods Asuran the demons Prati unto Yajamana performing sacrifice Avahat offered Bhagam share Matrishneha by affection for his mother Vashan Anugaha being compelled translation. Although offering clarified butter in the sacrificial fire in the name of the demigods, without the knowledge of the demigods, he also offered oblations to the demons because they were his relatives through his mother. Purport. Because of Vishvarup's affection for the families of both the demigods and the demons, he appeased the Supreme Lord on behalf of both dynasties. When he offered oblations in the fire on behalf of the Asuras, he did so secretly without the knowledge of the demigods. Saiva hidau bhagam paroksham asuran prati yajamano vahat bhagam matri sneha vashanugaha. Although offering clarified butter in the sacrificial fire in the name of the demigods, without the knowledge of the demigods, he also offered oblations to the demons because they were his relatives through his mother. Om Agyantim Nanda Shaganandana Salakya Chaksumintam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Hangum Langaiti Krim Kripa Tadaham Vande Sri Guru Dinatarinam. Namo Vishnu Vaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Sri Madhavakti Swami Nam. Namaste Saraswati Devi Om Vajrayani Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhuvya Cha Patitanam Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasa Gaura Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So here this story, history continues and tells how Indra is going to get further entangled. Actually, this whole, many chapters is about the different entanglements that Indra he gets involved with. As you may remember that it all started with Indra just by mistake for a moment neglected his spiritual master. Brihaspati entered the assembly, and Indra was sitting on the throne and being worshipped by all the demigods and Upadevas, and he was so intoxicated by all this worship that he didn't, he saw his spiritual master, but he comes every day, and he didn't do anything. He didn't say hi. He didn't say. Of course, he should have. That's the thing. The real thing is that whenever you see a spiritual master, you pay dandavats, obeisances, always. Whether when you go, it's the first time, second time, 50th time you see him. Every time you pay obeisances to the spiritual master. That's the standard. And Indra didn't do that, and also he didn't. You didn't even manchas or something like that. That's also not proper, but sometimes the real way to pay obeisances to a Vaishnava is to bow down, vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhuvya, etc. But of course here in this part of the world we sometimes develop we have also our customs. So here, it's not unusual that we have this vanchas. Vanchas, Prabhu. But it's actually not really meant to bow down to Vaishnavas. Indra, he didn't do anything when his spiritual master entered. And Brihaspati, when he saw that, he just turned around. So Indra, he's intoxicated, and first of all, he's a detached Brahmana. He's not there in any way to get worship and respect for himself. And if nobody cares about him, well, he can just go. He can go to others who care about him, or he can just go and perform his own service and study and so on. He's not attached. That's a symptom of being Brahmanas. It's because we don't see Brihaspati did not retaliate against Indra. He just didn't do anything. He just, okay, Indra is ignoring me. Yeah, I'm not wanted here, so he just left. And as a result, Indra lost all his power, and that's also, of course, instructed that because power actually comes by blessings of superior authorities, and Kshatriyas, they function on the blessings of the Brahmanas. They've been advised by the Brahmanas, but also they've been blessed by the Brahmanas, and then they actually have, full authority to act, and they can act very powerfully. But when that authority or blessing is withdrawn from from the Kshatriyas, Brahmanas withdraw that, then the Kshatriyas, they lose their power. Maybe they still have some physical strength and like that, but they lose their intelligence, they get out of control. Somehow or other, everything is lost. Kshatriyas cannot function without Brahmanas, and in modern context, there's no use to involve ourselves in politics, because whether it's going to be this leader or that leader or this Führer or that Führer or anything like that, they're not, even though they may have some material competency, they're not incompetent people, those who are our so-called leaders. But we know it's not going to work because there are no Brahmanas that are guiding the leaders. And it's simply how the universe works. That is Krishna's system. We cannot invent any other system. We might think that we in modern times we can create. It's a different time, it's a different world, and we have to adjust accordingly. But it's not different. This time is not. This age is not any. The laws are still the same. Like, for example, gravity is the same as it has always been. Fire acts the same way. Fire burns as it has always burned, even though we're living in the modern time and so on. Actually everything is the same. So similarly, the principle of human life and human organization like that, they are just as applicable today as they have always been. These are universal principles. And therefore we know that since there really are no qualified leaders, nothing will really work in this world. This leader, that political initiative, and this plan and that plan and so on, it's bound to fail. And don't even, when sometimes, politicians, you get disappointed by the politicians. You should not get disappointed. You should know even before they're going to fail. So when they fail, you should not be. Don't be surprised. They will fail for sure. Even when there's an election campaign, they make all these big promises and they create a whole mood and atmosphere. Now it's going to be a different time. It's going to be very, very. It's going to be so different, and it's going to. It's not going to be in it, and they're going to definitely disappoint, and we should not be disappointed that they'll disappoint us. It's bound to happen. Because the only thing that really works when you talk about leaders and society like that is that you have a class of Brahmanas who are guiding the Kshatriyas, and the Kshatriyas take shelter of the Brahmanas. So Indra, he lost his power because he lost his protection and the blessings of Brihaspati, and that we have been hearing here. So then, then when the demigods lost the heavenly planet to the demons, who, because also they generally are not so powerful, the demons, but they were worshipping Sukracharya, getting all the blessings from Sukracharya, so suddenly they became powerful. And so then the demigods, they turned to Vishnu and they prayed for help. And then they got the help from, got the advice, you go and accept Vishvarup as your guru, as your priest. You have to, he has a weakness, or I don't know if it's even a weakness, but he's just related family-wise to both you and the Asuras. So he'll be inclined to both sides. He'll have affection for both sides, but you simply have to tolerate that. It's not a problem. That's actually what they're telling us. It will not be a problem. You just have to live with that, and then everything will be fine. And this we've seen. It went on for a while. Vishvarup is an extremely qualified priest, and he gave the Narayan Kavacha shield to the demigods, and the demigods, they were able to conquer the demons and regain the heavenly planets by the strength from Vishvarup. And as far as I can see, that things are as they everything is okay. There is not a problem. But here we see that Indra, he becomes paranoid, and again he's going to act without taking guidance from higher authority. He's simply going to he becomes paranoid when he sees that Vishvarup is also offering some oblations to the demons. Also, although from what I can see, actually it doesn't seem to be a problem. It's Vishvarup is a very liberal Brahmana. He's not. He's agreed to be the priest of the demigods. He's favoring the demigods. By his strength of demigods, they gain the heavenly planets. So there's no doubt that he's completely loyal to the demigods. But also, he's not without affection for the demons. It's from his point of view, they're also people. The demons are also people, and he doesn't hate the demons, and that's also a devotee as such. Actually, we don't hate demons. We hate their demoniac behavior. That we hate, but demons, no, we actually like the demons very much. Devotees actually, they like everyone, so they also like the demons, but not their behavior, not their mentality, but the soul. They actually, they have affection for the soul, because the soul is not really a demon. Also, all souls are pure. So Simon Vishvarup is a very liberal Brahmana, and he has also because he is family related, but he is a liberal Brahmana, and he is like, it was also said about the 6 Goswamis. They were liked by everyone, and they liked everyone. Dira, Yana, Priya, Karao, Matsarao, Putitao. They had no envy, the 6 Goswamis. So as a result, they like the Dhiras and the Adiras. Dhiras are the sober, civilized people, the devotees, the pious people, and the Adira are those who are agitated and disturbed, those who are impure, the Asuras, the demoniac people. But the Goswamis were kind to everyone, and they were liked and popular with everyone actually. And similarly, we see with Vishvarup, he's also like that. He's an extremely elevated personality. So he's also giving something to the demons. But then, as we will see in the next verses, then Indra, he gets so disturbed and so fearful that he goes and, very impulsive, he goes and cuts off the heads of Vishvarup. And as we just read yesterday, he's very special. He does not only have one head, he has 3 heads. One he uses for drinking water, one for drinking wine. Was it one for drinking somaras, one for drinking wine, one for eating? That's practical. he's a very unusual personality. Described in this next verse, the Indra cuts off his heads, and these 3 heads, they become 3 different kinds of birds and like that. And what is that's, don't even, just accept it as it is. That's all. But Indra will kill Vishvarup, and for that he will get further entanglement. He gets, we're already reading about the entanglement that Indra has got himself into, and he's going to get himself into more trouble because of this. He'll have to, first of all, there'll be sinful reactions. He simply has to accept, and he'll be suffering the sinful reactions, and then finally he'll be able to distribute the sinful reactions for killing a Brahmana to the earth, to the trees, to the women, and the water, yeah. And to water, yeah. We'll hear about that. And so then he will be somewhat freed from, the direct karma. But again, he's not freed from entanglement, because Tvasta, the father of Vishvarup, is so angry and so disturbed with Indra that he takes revenge against Indra by creating the demon Ritasura. That's the name, the title of this chapter, the appearance of the demon Ritasura. And so we'll hear how Ritasura, he is born from the sacrificial fire of Tvasta, who wants to, create a real enemy of Indra, who can kill Indra, who can rid the world of Indra. So Indra, he'll get more entangled with Ritasura. He will end up having to fight against him, and he'll also kill him, and that gives him further reactions, because Ritasura turns out to be a great devotee, and also he's a son of a Brahmana. So he gets Indra gets so many more reactions. There are you'll have to, for 1 year, hide under water, and will not be able to eat anything. So he'll be very hungry and become very skinny, and it's just it's so much entanglement, and this whole section is talking about the entanglements that Indra gets himself into. And that's the nature of this material world, that if we act in this world fruitively, we create entanglement for ourselves. Krishna says that in the Bhagavad Gita, for those who are not renounced, the threefold result of action will accrue to them after death. And the threefold result of action probably explains they are the desirable and the undesirable and a mixture of both. This is how, in this world, when we act fruitively. Krishna therefore advises Arjuna, don't act fruitively. You have to learn the art of being renounced. That's the 18th chapter. It's called. It's about the renounced order, about renunciation and renounced order of life. And Krishna is saying actually one has to be in a renounced order of life. One has to be situated in renunciation, where he defines Krishna. He says that renounced order of life is if you have given up all fruitive activity, and renunciation. Tyaga means giving up the results of all activity. And then he says that for those who are not renounced, the threefold results of action will accrue after death. That is that's the nature of being in this world, being a conditioned soul, who is acting flusively, one simply gets entangled, entangled, entangled. One action leads to a reaction which creates a certain situation, and one reacts in that situation and creates further entanglement, which leads one on to the next situation, when more reactions, and then one reacts in that situation, and simply there's no end to it. There's simply no end to this. And one soul get entangled with other souls, and others, we drag ourselves into, we also drag others into entanglement. Just also in the end here of this story, we'll hear how it'll just be mentioned here in the Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam doesn't get into detail with this, but it'll be mentioned that when Indra is hiding for his sinful reaction for 1 year, then Nahush will officiate as Indra. So that's not mentioned in the Bhagavatam, but there's a whole entanglement for Nahush becoming Indra. Nahush was a great, powerful king on earth, and the demigods, they had no Indra. Then they approached Nahush and said, "Will you kindly come and be our Indra?" And at that point, Nahush, he was actually saying, "No, Indra, I don't want to be Indra. I'll be carried away by all this opulence and worship, and I'll definitely, it will be causing my fall down." And then but the demigods and so on said, no, it will not happen, and like that, and we'll help you and protect you, and like that. So he agrees, but it does happen. He does fall. He ends up falling down. There's a whole. I don't know actually which part of the Vedic literatures it's narrated. In other parts of the Puranas, maybe in the Mahabharata, and how Nahush, when he gets situated as Indra, actually in the beginning it goes very well. He's actually the demigods. They're actually quite impressed. Nahush is a really good Indra. He's doing such a nice job here, because Indra also has to understand that that's a position. It's not the name. It's just a position, like the Indra we hear about here. I'm not sure. Is this in this Manvantara? In the present Manvantara we're hearing about it. It's in the previous Manvantara. I'm not sure, but in the present Manvantara, Indra his actual name is Purangana, and it's just a position, and different people have occupy this position. So the demigods were saying about Nahush. He is really a good Indra, and he was doing such a nice job being Indra. But also as a result, inevitably it happened that he was getting worshipped, and from morning to evening everyone was just telling him how fantastic he is, how wonderful he is, how and this is really dangerous. Don't get yourself in a situation that's a very it's just a good advice. Don't get yourself in a situation where you have to be worshipped and have followers who just surround you the whole day and is just telling you how fantastic, wonderful, transcendental you are. It can drag down the most. Just we see here in the case of Nahush. Nahush was very careful, and in the beginning, and he knew the danger like that. But actually, in the end, he did get dragged down by it. He got one point he becomes so intoxicated by this whole thing that he